All right, everybody. Super progressive, what is good? We are in the DJ booth at Motion Bristol, where in about 3 hours, history will be made. For the first time in 30 years, Nick Warren, the hometown hero, Sasha, and John Digweed will be sharing the stage for the event of every progressive house fan's dreams. We're gonna be here recording live from the event. And David, come take a look at this. This is what they'll be playing on. Classic Sasha setup, classic John Digweed DB4, Zone DB4 mixer. And yeah, I mean, we just feel so lucky to even be here, but this is gonna be one of the best nights of our lives. This is what super progressive is all about. I'm literally getting goosebumps. 3 hours from now, this place is gonna be rocking. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go. Dude, we're back.
We're back, which is nice.
Another super progressive interview with one of the, there's a Mount Rushmore of progressive music. Nick Warren is on that, on that mountain.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, we're so stoked to be here. Now, tell us about how you're feeling, because not only are you playing with two of the guys you've shared the mantle with for the past 30, 40 years now, but it's also a homecoming for you.
It's
like, look, it's extra special.
It's extra special, but also I never get nervous. No, I am never nervous. When the car driving it, I was like, am I feeling sick? I was like, no, I'm feeling nervous. So no, it's so look, I've been either in this city or very close to this city since I moved here in 1986, so I've been here a long time. It's a very special place to me.
Amazing. And
we were just talking the other day, and when we go online and we see pictures of all these old flyers from 30 years ago, it seems like every other flyer is like Nick Warren, Dave Seaman, John, Sasha. It seems that back then, especially here in the UK, that the scene was just really tight knit, and you guys were just going all over the place together. So I'm curious, what was it like to kind of build that camaraderie with all those guys, and then how does that compare to today, where an event like what we're doing tonight is less common?
Well, I think the main thing to say is that DJing wasn't a job before us, so we never went into it as a career. Me and John, Sasha, Carl Cox, Paul Unkelfold, everybody like this. So we just started DJing because we loved the music. We're like you guys. We'd go to the record shop on a Friday, buy everything that we could, and And eventually we had so many records that the people asked us to start doing parties. So there was no career goal. There was no part of the business back then. It was a real passion for music, and that's where it all began.
Totally. You know, Nick, I'm first time in Bristol for me today.
Yeah.
Walking around, this city's got some edge to it. It's awesome. You feel it walking around. Now, I listen to something like your Back to Mine mix.
Okay.
I listen to something like your Global Underground 24 Reykjavik mix. The mixing of these styles of music, the dub, the reggae, the downbeat stuff, the ambient stuff. It's a total reflection of, it seems, of this city which you came from.
Yeah. Well, it's going way back, the late 80s, early 90s. The scene here was quite small. It was all small venues. It wasn't big clubs like this. But then on a Wednesday it would be a drum and bass party. On a Thursday it would be a trip hop. On a Friday there'd be some acid house. So we were taking influences from everything, and you could play everything in one night. So if I could play a track at one, say Future Sounds London, Papua New Guinea, and then play a dub reggae track after it, and no one cared. It wasn't this seamless mixing idea that it all became. So me being here, and the people involved in Bristol then, sort of a massive attack, of course, Smith and Mighty must also be spoken about. They were all huge influences, but we were all mates, you know.
And then a huge break for you is being Massive Attacks. Touring DJ. Now, it's probably been years since you've been approached to do a proper opening set. Your career's in a different place now. But what'd you learn about DJ through that experience?
Oh, it was the best experience ever. Basically, I was playing before the band, so my job was never to rock the joint. My job was to get the room just to the right frame just before the band comes on. So I could play anything I wanted. I could play Frank Sinatra backwards and no one cared, because my job was just to get the room in the right place. And how it began was me and Massive Attack first were friends. Myself and Daddy G were really close. We used to DJ it together. We used to play back-to-back sets. And when they suddenly made Blue Lines and then started to tour the world, very kindly they asked me if I'd go with them. I was like, yeah. And so I toured the world with them. It was a wonderful time. It really was special. Playing these massive sound systems. Back then there was no dB limits, so we would make people fall over with bass. People would be pinned against the back wall, going zzz. But then it was a really exciting time because no one had done it before, and it was just like, so there was no handbook, there was no plan, but it was really exciting.
Oh, no, that's about where I was. Sure, yeah. So being that your beginnings were here in Bristol, another partner of yours, Jody Listernoff, the two of you had an incredible partnership, making tracks as Way Out West. How did that initially come together?
Well, it was it's a funny story because I've been making music and looking for a production partner, and Jody was making what they called then a hardcore, which is like really fast drum and bass style techno. And so I worked at a record shop in Bristol called Tony's, which everyone came to buy records. And Jody was 14, 15 at the time, and his dad used to bring him in to buy all his hip hop records, and his dad said, well, look, we've got a studio at home, why don't you come in and work? And so Jody and I got together, and it just worked super well.
Oh yeah. No, so a few years ago now,
you sold a big record collection, and but something that was fascinating to me that I think a lot of people aren't really familiar with unless they're DJs from that time, but are acetates.
Yeah.
And so in your collection were quite a few acetates. What was it like? What was the process to get those made for a gig? And tell us all about that.
It was funny. Acetates have now got this romantic notion. They were not. They were not. They were the only option. So people would make a track or a remix. Sasha would make a remix, and he'd send me a DAT tape. And there was no pin drives. There were no CDs. So the only option was to send it to London, and they would cut a dub plate for £60, one-sided, or if you want a two-sided, and you would get maybe 17 plays out of that before it started to deteriorate. So at the peak, we were spending thousands a month on them, and some of them. Some tracks I'd get sent the data, oh that's great, I'll send it off, and the player go, I don't really like it anymore. So you spent £60 on a dub plate which you never used. They were really heavy, and so carrying them around was a pain. I am glad they're gone.
And then our last question. I saw you put this down.
Yeah.
I've been asking, I sat down with Hernan on the boat in Miami.
Yeah.
And I've been really interested in all the different types of headphones that DJs use. What type of headphones have you found are most comfortable for you?
These are the Pioneer. They're carbon fiber. So
nice.
So they're super light, but they're unbreakable, completely unbreakable. They are amazing. Amazing.
And what are you looking for in a headphone that you use consistently? Just consistently?
It must be over ear. Comfortable. That's it, really.
Yeah. Well, Nick, dude, this is like a bucket list for us to see you in your hometown.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it's all about.
Great,
and,
thanks,
thank you so much.
Thanks,
we
guys.
hope you have a blast.
That'll be good tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, mate.
Jim,
How you doing, man?
what's good? We're here with Bristol's finest. I just got a shitload of footage of you guys outside, empathy pre-party, but this is what, my first time in Bristol, but this is what Bristol's all about, in my opinion. How are you guys doing?
We are doing very well.
Yeah, good. Looking forward to the night as it gets going. Definitely, yeah.
Can you guys give me a little bit of history about your roots with Bristol?
Well, my roots probably started a little bit before Jim, but basically Empathy started in 2001 in a little kind of underground, cavernous venue. It's like every week for 4 years, every Thursday for 4 years, and yeah, it was just ridiculous. We got loads of artists from all over the world that would come to the UK to play on a weekend, but we would get them for cheap on a Thursday.
Yeah, that's it.
People like J Tripwire, coming over. Lockadice, John D and Spesh, Austin Leeds, all from they are a lot from America, but other people like Paco and Frederick,
Phil K
from Australia, and so we would kind of
Phil K.
Yeah, legends.
Dude.
Yeah, R.I.P. But yeah, so yeah, we had lots of homegrown sort of people like Zabelia and Danny Howells, Nick Warren, who was obviously local, and Jody was a resident, so we'd had loads of
loads of people, and then I met Stu. I used to go to the club. I used to run a drum and bass night, and I went down on a Thursday to the house night, and I was giving CDs out for years to who I thought was Stu, but was his best mate, and I was like, why is no one getting back to me? I think these are quite good, and I realised it was him. Finally gave him a CD, and then he was like, literally, it was like Boxing Day one year, someone let him down, he was like, can you come and play? And I was like, yeah, I'll come and play. I played the first hour.
And that was that,
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Never
that.
looked back.
So,
we've been mates ever since. He was best man at my wedding.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
You guys best mates?
Yeah, best mates. All good.
Well, it seems to me, I've never seen a pre-party with as much energy as
mate,
when I saw
we're
out
old
there.
school. A pre-party.
It's I feel like as many people come for the empathy pre-party, they're as stoked for that as they are for the gig itself.
Man.
It's such a good vibe.
Well, it's an
it gets the party going. 8 p.m. onward. The party's on.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, we should be doing an after party, but we're not. But do you know what I mean?
We're too old for that.
Yeah.
But, okay, another question. I'm going around. I'm talking to people in the crowd. Everyone's talking about, Sasha and John. It's it's Sasha and John, but they're like, we're expecting a breaksy night. We're expecting some breaks. What is the sound of Bristol? Why is this gig gonna be special musically compared to other times that they play? Because you can see Sasha and John in different cities around the world, but what is this city's sound about?
The bass.
Well, it's so diverse, yeah. So I'm not from Bristol. I'm from Kent, and I moved to Bristol and lived here for 10 years. And when I came up, there was drum and bass, there was hip hop, there was the breaks, the blow pop scene, all that kind of real funky breaks.
Dubstep coming in later on,
drum and bass, and it was just, there was such a fusion of sound. So out of that, there comes all of this variety of music. So Bristol has always been a city to play where it's really open. So John and Sasha tonight, they can experiment to a Bristol crowd. People are more open to stuff. And I've always loved playing here, so sometimes I would play drum and bass at the end of my set here because Bristol people are well up for it. So it's quite a unique crowd. But we've always been plugging the house, the techno, the progressive house stuff, and there's always been the thread of that running through the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing with Nick and Jody as well. I mean, Nick and Jody didn't always play progressive house. There's tunes like Agere, they didn't come from really progressive house. They just came from Bristol. Those tracks, So, to have Nick playing and Sasha and John in Bristol all
First
together.
time in 30 years.
30 years, so it's a big moment,
Yeah.
First time in 30 years.
And it sold out within 3 weeks.
I got the security saying expect heavy numbers, 2,500 people coming into this club. But couple questions. First time in 30 years. That means there was a gig 30 years ago.
Northern Exposure.
Shut up.
There you go. I did not know that.
Lakota, yeah.
Northern Exposure.
You should be wearing the Super Progressive T-shirt with that noise.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Wow. So the city's history runs.
Oh yeah. Lakota was a big place back in the late 90s. With Sasha was playing there all the time. John played there. I'd love to hear Sasha's stories about playing in a Dakota. But yeah, you know, it's an eventful city. Like shit happens here, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So when people come and play, magic happens.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
So freaking sick. I listened to Nick Warren's Back to Mine. I listened to Nick Warren's Global Underground Reykjavik 20 GU24 in Reykjavik, right?
Yeah.
We're talking fusions of music.
Exactly. I mean that album.
There's reggae.
That's the Bristol.
There's hip hop. There's urban culture infused into this electronic progressive music.
Yeah.
It's a Bristol thing.
It is a Bristol thing.
It definitely is. It's similar to London, and it's got that.
It's not
culture.
a London thing. It's a Bristol thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. There's something about Bristol that's really cool.
Yeah, and dude, I was walking around today, first time ever coming to this city, and you feel the edge. It's like, dude, this shit's real.
Yeah.
It's embedded into the city.
Yeah, it really is.
You can't fake it.
No.
It's not like this is a Bristol. It's like, dude, this is in the core of the city.
Yeah.
My last question is, pre-party was epic. Such a freaking build-up tonight.
I think it's still going on actually.
What can we look forward to more from the Empathy crew?
Well, we're doing the second room, the Marble Factory, this evening. So Sam's playing at the moment, Sam T. Richardson. And then we're going to be playing, three of us back to back till 2 a.m. And then we've got Simon Lloyd playing and then Andy Price as well. So it's going to be a top night in the second room, let alone the main room with Sasha, John, Nick, and
then I keep trying to convince him to do more parties. So we did the last big party we did a couple of years ago was with Lauren Garnier.
Oh, sick.
So we just sort of come out of retirement every few years.
When it matters.
When we fancy it.
Yeah.
Well, what I say is people come for room one, but the spirit of the night lives in room two.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You know, I'll be obviously checking out what's going on in room one, but my ass will be in room two, fucking enjoying it. But I just want to thank you guys for awesome start to the night.
Man.
Seriously,
nice
and
one.
also freaking dude, thank you
Let's
for
have a great
showing
night,
me
man.
what Bristol's all about. This is sick.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
Cheers,
Nice
mate.
stuff.
Yeah,
Nice
cheers.
one.
Thank you. Bro, so stoked to have you here. We have George from the Prog Lab. George, how you doing?
Yeah, great.
Okay, now, the Prog Lab, one of the leading promoters of the Bristol progressive scene. How are you feeling about tonight? Are you stoked?
So excited. I mean, I've been a Sasha and Digweed fan since I was 16 years old. So I've been chasing them all around the country, going to Amsterdam, going to London, going to Glasgow to see their gigs. So every time Motion release a lineup, I've always been waiting for Sasha and Digweed to come and play. So as soon as they announced it, I bought tickets within 1 minute. So yeah, so excited. The Prog Lab started because, like I said, we were chasing progressive house nights all around the country. There was nothing in the Southwest for a long time. And we came up with the idea when we were at a 303 event in Liverpool. And then we started off with a little small night with like 200 people, and then we've gradually, organically got bigger and bigger. So now we're booking artists like Guy J, Nick Warren. I've got an exclusive as long as you don't release this before Tuesday, but in July we have Henry Size, Jeremy Lander and Emmy Galvin playing. So yeah, that's going to be a sweet one.
Really sick thing, and it feels like the progressive scene around the UK is growing and growing, but it feels like it has a foothold here in Bristol.
For sure.
It seems like it's been a developing thing.
100%. I think there's a big audience here that loves progressive. Bristol's it's the biggest city in the southwest. You have people coming from Cornwall, Devon, from Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, and they all come to Bristol for their nights out. But Motion recently have been mostly having tech house nights, so to find a really decent progressive house night, you have to go to London. But not everyone can afford to get hotels, trains to London. So this is why we thought we'd start the Prog Lab, get all the people in this area that love progressive house, just gradually start building up, start booking bigger artists, and yeah, we're really proud of where it's got to.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Well, let's take us back. How'd you get into the progressive scene?
So I mean, I was a DJ in bars and clubs in Gloucester and Cheltenham. So I was always pushing the progressive house sound from 2000 really, when Sasha and Digweed were the #1 DJs in the world. So
I was always pushing progressive house, even though I was playing to people who were just drunk and drinking. But over time, the progressive house scene got smaller and smaller, so it was harder and harder to do it. So yeah, it's basically I feel like it's a second life for progressive. Like, music comes in circles, and I feel that it's now getting to a point where there's a thirst for it. There's lots of ravers that haven't been out for 10 years and they're now coming out again, which I think is great. And this is why I think you have a scene of people who are over 50s, but you're also seeing lots of people in their 20s and 30s who are now coming out, really enjoying the sound of progressive house, because it's, in my opinion, the best genre. So if you can call it a genre, I prefer to call it a philosophy.
Yeah.
Where you can use any genre of music, but it's all about energy and vibe, and I think you can't beat it with progressive house.
Totally. And if people want to stay up to date with the Prog Lab, where can they find you guys?
You can check us out on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, where we mostly post updates, videos about our events. We've also got a website, which is theproglab.com, so you can check out our events there.
Yeah. Bro, so stoked. This is gonna be sick.
Thank you, man.
So stoked for tonight.
Oh no, it's gonna be so sweet.
It's gonna be all time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.